Hi, and welcome back to this second episode of this special series of tips where we're exploring some of the technologies that is reshaping the alarm reporting capability to ECCs. I'm your host, Fletch, founding principal at Fletch 911 Consulting and a NENA certified ENP for nearly 20 years. In this episode, I'm going to dig into the Digital Automated Secure Alarm Protocol that's better known as ASAP. We'll explain how it's transforming the way that the alarm industry can communicate more efficiently with public safety agencies when an alarm condition exists. Now, spoiler alert, this digital process has been shown to cut an average of 2 minutes off every dispatch and potentially give you back up to 40 hours of dispatcher productivity each month. That's like getting an employee free for 3 months every year, just by using a protocol that's more efficient. So go grab a coffee and let's dive in.
Welcome to Tips Today in Public Safety. I'm Spider Harrison, and on today's episode of Tips, Fletch is talking about alarm calls to 911. You know, those calls that show up constantly, sometimes for the most minor thing, but occasionally it's the real deal. And when it's the real deal, the clock is not your friend. Now here's Fletch with today's tips.
To understand ASAP, we need to go back about 20 years to 2005, when APCO officials teamed up with the Central Station Alarm Association, which is now known as the Monitoring Association, or TMA. Their goal was to solve a growing problem in public safety regarding alarm reporting. You see, there were over 600 alarm centers trying to reach out to 6,500 911 centers across the U.S. And in the alarm world, every single alarm would trigger a phone call to a police dispatcher, introducing delays, waiting in queue for another human, and then the information was forced to be conveyed verbally. And this is where transcription errors got introduced, adding to the inevitable delays in the delivery of critical incident data. So it became clear that a national standard was needed, as well as a network that supported this process, because you would need 4 million individual point-to-point connections, and that's not really manageable on either side of the alarm. So working together, APCO and the TMA created the ANS 2.101 alarm standard to take care of the digital format. That left the issue of how to easily deliver that data to 911 agencies across the U.S. Remember, back then, the internet was still new, and the ubiquitous connectivity that we all enjoy today didn't really exist. But there was something that did exist. It was called NLITS, and that initiative was so successful that in 2010, 2 special message keys, ALQ for alarm notifications, into the CAD from alarm companies, and ALR responses going back to them were added. And it was at that moment that a bidirectional digital connection between monitoring centers and PSAPs was born. The very first proof of concept occurred in Virginia, where 2 local PSAPs had all their alarm traffic routed through NLITS on a VPN. And by doing that, they were able to achieve a turnaround time of 15 seconds from alarm receipt to dispatch on over 4,200 alarm exchanges. And that was proof that digital alarm delivery was not just possible, but transformational for both the alarm industry as well as public safety. What exactly is ASAP? At its core, ASAP is about sending actual alarm data directly into a PSAP and getting it into the CAD system digitally. For the techies out there, the protocol utilizes a standard ANSI alarm exchange XML that NLITS treats as an opaque package, so the actual content is never read or altered. When an alarm triggers, the monitoring company's CAD sends an ALQ message. A direct API, which is becoming more prominent, or NLITS then delivers the call to the destination PSAP. PSAP's CAD system then automatically creates a call for service and can either accept or reject the alarm. Dispatchers are able to exchange updates via ALR messages until the event is cleared on both sides. Now the best part? There's no phone call to a call taker, so the alarms can go immediately into the dispatch queue. The False Alarm Challenge. So how is this such a big deal? Well, first of all, it saves time, eliminates the need for a dedicated alarm line or even an IVR. But best of all, false alarms can be instantly canceled. And that's huge because false alarms are a massive drain on public safety. In fact, TMA's own data suggests that only 0.25% of all alarm calls involve crimes that require police intervention. That means that 99.75% of all alarms are not emergencies. And more than 80% of those false alarms stem from preventable user error. Things like authorized staff entering the wrong code or forgetting to disarm altogether. 80% of 99.75. Imagine all of the dispatcher time that's wasted on those phone calls, the potential for miscommunication, and the stress that puts on the entire system as well as its staff. ASAP solves this by removing the human transcription step and then automating the data exchange. Even better, TMA's introduced the ADS-01 alarm validation scoring standard. And that's a classification system with levels 0 through 4 that tells dispatchers how serious an alarm is. A level 0 means there's no call for service, and a level 4 is a confirmed threat to life. Monitoring centers can use ADS-01 to decide whether to dispatch, send private guard responses, or cancel the alarm altogether, and do that digitally. In practice, this helps reduce false dispatches, provides richer context to first responders while enhancing officer safety. Moving beyond NLITS, modern deployment options. Now, even as great as NLITS is, new digital options exist today. And this is why TMA developed the new ASAP Digital Alarm Service. The new Digital Alarm Service offers new ways to connect using things like the AWS GovCloud. So this allows agencies to use an API instead of requiring an NLITS connection. And it makes implementation much easier to accomplish and go live. Plus, the future-proof architecture uses standard networking and VPN technologies that you already trust. And for agencies with a tight budget or those systems that are stuck on legacy CAD platforms, the ASAP View version offers a secure web-based dashboard that delivers alarm data without any CAD and needs minimal IT resources because it runs in a browser. And some agencies use ASAP View as a stepping stone before their full ASAP integration. Coming up next week. Next week, we're going to talk a little more about the ADS-01 alarm validation scoring standard and how that classification system can tell dispatchers exactly how serious an alarm is, from no call for service required to a confirmed threat of life. And we'll also go over some specific implementations as well as examples where ASAP has been successfully implemented. So wrapping up, ASAP is more than just a protocol. It's a public-private partnership that's eliminating the need for phones and phone call-based alarm transfers, reduces errors, and empowers dispatchers with a better data environment. But this is not just about technology. It's about saving resources and ultimately saving lives. That's all for this episode and this special edition of Tips Today in Public Safety. Remember to follow me on social media, stay safe, and stay connected.
You've been listening to Tips Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way,